Hey guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rise. We're back here at Jaguar Land Rover St. Petersburg, and guess what? I have that one sports car, some say supercar, that still has people excited. It's this vehicle right here. This is a 2023 Chevrolet C8 Corvette, and it's the mighty Z06. But before we get into this bright red America's true sports car, let's talk about what's going on here. The Z06. It's interesting because there's some people out there that think Chevrolet actually chose these names. It really didn't work out that way. Z06 is an option code. And it's funny because an option code, lots of brands, pretty much all of them use different option codes for their different packages, engines, colors, and everything else. But Chevrolet seems to do it right by it sounding good, even just calling it by the code. So instead of this being a C8 Stingray, which is what your standard C8 is all about, this is the Z06 because of the option code. Now it goes all the way back to the first year of the Z06 was 1963. That was a way for Zora Arkus Duntov, the true father of the Corvette, and the other Corvette engineers and designers to get some race-prepped split-window Corvettes out the back door because General Motors was not officially doing anything with racing, just like the other of the big three. The other two of the big three, Ford and Chrysler, were not as well. Now, what's fascinating is that Z06 in 1963, you didn't see another Z06 for decades. Not until the fifth generation of the Corvette where we saw the Z06 come back. And what's interesting is that now we have the Z06, but with a totally different power plant never seen before in a Corvette of any type. But what I want to find out is I get a lot of people coming up to me, a lot of people calling me up, messaging me, even sending messenger pigeons to my house saying, Joe, what do I do? Do I go new E-Ray or do I go Z06? What will make me happier? So what I want to find out is, how should you spend your money? Are we going to go C8 Z06 or are we going to go C8 E-Ray? Let's go ahead. Let's dive into this torch red Z06 and find out. Right off the bat, the design. I really feel like the design even is more fruitful in the Z06 shape than on the standard Stingray. Stingray looks good. It all comes together with the Z06. Now at the front of the business, you're going to get an additional over 3 inches of width. And what's fascinating is it's not just the Z06 that has that width. What's fascinating is that the E-Ray has the same body as the Z06. So both of them are going to give you your extra 3 inches. Now at the front of the business, it goes without saying, you're going to get full LED lighting. Daytime running lamp, which also is your turn signal, and that projector beam headlight. Massive, ginormous corner air intakes, and you can see the heat exchangers lurking behind those. You have carbon flash metallic, which is basically the trim color of choice on a GM product. It's not gloss black. It may look gloss black on camera, but it does have a nice metallic, smoky metallic tinge to it. Now this particular Z06 is optioned with the body colored lower splitter area. That is an option. Now what's fascinating is when you go E-Ray, where you see the black, it automatically comes color matched. That's a way to differentiate an E-Ray stock from a stock Z06. The funny thing is, if you want to on the E-Ray, you can also get a carbon flash metallic, which then makes it go right out the window. But as we come across that low stealth fighter slung nose, you'll notice we have ginormous, I mean, these are gargantuan openings for brake cooling, the heat exchangers, more functionality in the center. You can see that splitter, especially the body colored matching addition to get that extra length. And then on the nose, we have the cross flags. It goes back to 1953. Every Corvette has had the cross flags badge. And if you look over time, they've changed quite a bit, but I'm glad that they're still there. Now, like I said, on the E-Ray, you're still going to get that extra wide body, just like the Z06, but on the E-Ray, underneath the nose area is a small electric motor, which gives it all-wheel drive. This Z06, like every other Corvette before it, is rear-wheel drive. Now, as we rise up, you could really see, I love the way they did the very crisp lines to give it that stealth fighter look. Love the way they styled that. And then now coming around the bend, what I think that is so smart finally on a Corvette to do is to allow more customization when you go to buy and order yours. So when we look at wheels and tires, this is just one type that you could get on a Z06. And I'm digging these. You have this split spoke design. As you can see, they're forged aluminum, which forged aluminum is lighter than cast. I'm a little stuck on the neon yellow calipers, but the thing that I really am digging is that they're the Brembo carbon ceramic rotors. So those are over 16 inches in diameter, two-piece rotor, and it's carbon ceramic rotors, which means it's going to give you ultimate in braking capability. That technology was first seen on Formula One cars all the way back in the 90s, and now we have it on street cars. Now, of course, you could get different caliper color. So let me know if you're digging the highlighter yellow calipers on this particular torch red Z06. I got to zonk it. I would have went with a black, a gunmetal gray, a silver, a red. But the neon yellow, I don't know, it just isn't working for me. But I do like the way these have carbon ceramic rotors because guess what? Even though they're an option on the Z06, they actually come standard on the E-Ray. So if you're comparing, this is actually going to be a great comparison when we go to drive because the E-Ray has carbon ceramic brake rotors over 16 inches in diameter. And then if you're wondering, well, what type of wheel do we have here? What size wheel? This is a 20-inch wheel up front, 21-inch wheel out back, and we're running Michelin Pilot Sport 4S tires. Now on the E-Ray, your standard tire is going to be an all-season, but you can option these tires on an E-Ray as well. And what's fascinating about the E-Ray is that the rear tires that are Michelin's are the widest all-season tire ever produced. Kind of cool. We have the MagneRide suspension. That's going to fine-tune the compression and rebound damping every nanosecond. And I don't know, there's just something about torch red and these gunmetal gray wheels that make my heart pitter-patter. Now, as we go down the side, you are going to get color matched on the mirror caps with some of that carbon flash metallic. A little fun sort of Jeopardy piece of information is that, believe it or not, the mirror on the right side of the car actually sticks out further than the mirror on the left side. And the reason why is when you're the driver, to see past the wide air intake and everything, the mirror actually has to come out further. But I like the way it's got the LED turn signals built in. You can see our carbon flash metallic sill extension. And the reason why they taper it in is not just for style, but so that when you get in and out, you don't bang it with your shoe, especially like a high heel shoe. That would really mess it up. Now, just like on the E-Ray, you are going to get on the Z06 those wider air intakes, carbon flash metallic with the Z06 badge. And then as you could tell, I got the top down. This is a convertible. It's the first ever Corvette. The C8 Corvette convertible is the first ever Corvette to have a folding hardtop. And it only weighs about 70 pounds, which when we talk about convertibles, that's not a lot of weight extra. Another little Corvette fun fact is that the C1 generation, the first generation, which goes from 53 to 62, all the Corvettes were convertible. But you could get an optional hardtop that you could put in place. That's a little fun fact. Another little fun fact, none of the first generation Corvettes come with air conditioning. A lot of convertibles back in the day, you wouldn't get air conditioning. That's just the way it was. Now, as we come back, I love the way they sculpted, especially with the top down, they sculpted this rear area. And I like on this particular one, it's all torch red. You can get these painted Carbon, I've seen carbon flash metallic. I don't like it. It puts too much black up top. But I like the way these are shaped. Focusing on the rear wheels and tires, like I said, 21-inch wheel, carbon ceramics out back with those ginormous highlighters known as Brembo brake calipers. And the rear tire, 345 on the width. That's a steamroller. That's having two steamrollers out back. We got an electronic limited slip diff. And then as we rise back up, Steven's going to be able to show you that with that tonneau cover covering the hardtop, that does give you a great style to the way that they did the wire mesh to let that heat come out from where our mid-engine is. The bad news on a 2023, well, basically 2020, which is the first year of the Stingray, the C8 Stingray, up to 2023, if you get in a convertible, you can't see the engine. It's all covered up with plastic. But for 2024, on the E-Ray and the other models, if you get a convertible, it's got a plexiglass window so you could show the goods. And the good news is that if you're sad that you don't have a 2024, say you have a 2022 convertible, you could actually get that cover installed at your Chevrolet dealership so you could show off the goods like everybody else. Now, it's grown on me, the way that they've styled the taillights. Obviously, the tradition used to be round, but I'm digging this, and I like on the Z06 how it squishes this area and then it pulls it apart. That gives it, I think, a better look than the standard Stingray, C8 Stingray. Carbon flash metallic on the venting and on the bottom rear bumper area with more of that wire mesh metal finish. And then as we come across the center section here, this is the big way to tell it this is a Z06. Quad tip exhaust all together in the center, just like on a C7. All C7s had the exhaust like that, but on the C8, remember we have two exhausts on one side, two exhausts on the other corner. Here, I love the way we have the nice large stainless steel tips in the center, slash cut. If you're wondering, Joe, does an E-Ray have this? No. E-Ray has your standard outlet exhaust locations, but it does have the wider, of course, rear end that you get off a Z06. And then I personally like the way this one is optioned with these extra kick-ups on the back rear spoiler. The rear wing, I have to zonk, it looks too funky to me. It's got a weird, like an origami seagull. You know those little ones where you go like this and the wings flap after you fold it? I can never do it, so maybe you know origami. But if you know what I'm talking about, that rear wing just, I don't know, it doesn't jive with me. So I am going to zonk the wing. But other than that, we are looking damn good with this Z06. Why don't we go ahead? We're going to open up this rear hatch, and I want to show you what do you see on a 2023 convertible. All right, guys. Now, you may not see many C8 Corvettes that are convertibles going down the road like this. If you do, there is definitely a problem either with the car or more so with the owner. But I wanted to show you what you can and can't see. So we have the rear tonneau cover up. You can see that hard top that's coming into place, 70 pounds worth of weight. And then underneath that, that's the big zonk. You can't see anything. But let me tell you what you can't see, that if you get the plexiglass cover, will then make the clouds go away and you'll be able to see. Underneath that plastic cover, we have a 5.5 liter flat plane crankshaft V8 known as the LT6. 670 horsepower, 460 pound-feet of torque. It's mated to an 8-speed DCT, 0 to 60, 2.7 seconds. Quarter mile is going to blow by in 10.7 seconds at 129 miles per hour, and top speed is 190 miles per hour. E-Ray, if you're going to go that route, you have the LT2 pushrod V8 in the back with the electric motor to give you 655 horsepower. So not as much horsepower, but on the E-Ray, you have 595 pound-feet of torque with all-wheel drive, making it the fastest Corvette 0 to 60, 2.5 seconds. This car, though, has a red line around 8,600 RPM. It weighs 3,799 pounds. And if you really actually care, MPGs are 12 in the city, 19 on the highway. Now remember, before I go and fire this baby up, the E-Ray is not a green initiative car. And I know some people were already in the comments with my other E-Ray videos. And if you haven't seen those, I'll leave a link to one at the end of this one. They were like, oh, it only has a 5-mile range of electric. Yeah, because the battery is so small. It's not meant to be a vehicle to drive on pure EV. You could only go about 5 miles on pure EV in stealth mode. That's not the purpose. The purpose is about giving it that all-wheel drive and almost 600 pound-feet of torque. But guess what? We have a high screaming 8,600 RPM Redline V8. Let's go ahead, let's fire it up and hear what it sounds like. All right, guys, it's like a roller coaster in here. You just hold your arms up as you go on throttle, but like a roller coaster. But sitting in this thing, I'm telling you, it wraps around you like an isotoner glove. And I know you're probably saying to yourself, well, Joe, I've always wanted a Z06. Even back in the day with the C5s and the C6s. C7s were cool, but I'm definitely liking this one. What's the price? So price on this one is $173,000. Let's see how it compares to the E-Ray, to the door panels. I love the style. Look at that beautiful stitching that they've done. Not only the white stitching, but then the dark stitching in the center. We do have the Bose sound system, and this is a 3LZ. So this is a top optioned Z06. Aluminum trim around the switchgear, and then more stitching. Stitching everywhere. Nice large door pocket. Keep it to a Subway sub. 12-inch meatball with extra parm will slide right in there like a hot pocket. And then going from the door panel to the dash, same news. The stitching, the leather material. The one thing that I can't stand are these flimsy little tabs that they have that are plastic for the AC vents. I wish they would do something about that. But then coming on in, I don't care about it, but maybe some of you do. You have an 8-inch infotainment system. Let me know if you think that they need to make it larger. I'm fine with the size. You put it into reverse. The camera resolution is ridiculous. It's super clear. GM does a great job with their cameras. Of course, you got your push-pull system for your 8-speed Tremec DCT transmission. You got your mode selector knob over this little palm rest. Our waterfall of AC controls, heated and ventilated seats. 2 cup holders, but you're not drinking anything in my Z06. There's your key fob. Same like any other Corvette. Remote start's a lot of fun with that flat plane crankshaft. Nice leather material. Open it up just for the driver. I have felt lining, and you have enough room in here for 1 bag of combos. Go pizza style. USB-A, USB-C, and an aux jack. And then if you look in between the seats, you actually have your Bose center speaker. And I like the way that all 2023s get the 70th anniversary badge, and you have your wireless charging. These are the GT2 seats, leather, carbon fiber, wonderful bolstering, wonderful stitching, and full electric assist for the passenger and the driver. And as you can see, we have the top down, and you could notice how there's Alcantara material all around the window frame, on your sun visors. But you know what? And we have, on top of that, you have your digital rearview mirror, which is awesome. But why don't you go ahead, get your butt over here, because somebody poured a bucket of carbon fiber on my lap. Come on over, I want to show you. All right, guys, business time. I promise you, this is where you want to be sitting. Now, you do have your Z06 aluminum sill plate, which is really nice. I like the way that that has that Z06 name there. Pedal box is right out of a C8R race car. Nice aluminum dead pedal, brake pedal, and throttle. You have your seat controls that are easy to get to. And remember, this is a 3LZ, so this is top trim. Love the GT2 spec seats. The bolstering is great. It's going to hold you into place. And remember, basically the interior is the same on the Z06 compared to the E-Ray. The only difference is you have some buttons here on the side on the E-Ray for doing that battery save. And then, of course, there's some different screen readouts to show you the power use and all that mumbo jumbo. But I promised you carbon fiber, I'm delivering. You got leather, carbon fiber up top, on the bottom with the Z06 badge there. It is an electric tilting and telescoping steering wheel, and we have carbon fiber surfboards, also known as shifter paddles, on the back of the steering wheel. And then you got that beautiful gauge cluster. I love how all the information is oriented, and then watch. You hit the Z button and it all changes with that tack right in the center. Head-up display, clear as day with all the important information. You do get a usable frunk. I don't give a damn about it. You do get some space in the back. That's great too. But what I want to show you is I want to show you on throttle. So if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's see how the Z06 drives compared to the E-Ray. All right, guys, we are inside this 2023 C8 Z06. Wow, wow, wow. I absolutely love being wrapped around with this car, and it is freaking phenomenal. And if you're ready, I'm ready. I want to take you on throttle. Of course, we have launch control. On throttle, here we go. Yeah. Yeah. Nice. There we go. Woo-hoo-hoo. I tell you, that high revving V8, the sound is going to give you an eargasm for days. Like, you'll be in your office at work and you'll still be having an eargasm. So make sure you keep the tissues and the towels very, very handy. Of course, the carbon ceramic brake rotors will stop you on a dime and give everybody change. And the one thing that I do like more about the Z06, besides the E-Ray with the Z06, besides the sound, is I like the way that this car is lighter than the E-Ray. The E-Ray is gonna be around 4,000 pounds because of the battery, the electric motor, and all the other gizmos and gadgets that they need to have in the vehicle. The one thing that I know some people have already told me they don't like about the Z06 that I want to definitely point out is you don't have that low down grunt torque. So if you've been driving a Stingray, when you get in a Z06, you might be disappointed because the torque, it's not low in the rev range, it's up higher. Whereas with the E-Ray, because of the pushrod V8, because of the electric motors, because of the all-wheel drive, the torque down low almost makes your brain separate from your eyeballs. So something to think about. We are going to put the top down, don't worry, but I want to do some more on throttle. Are you ready? Because I'm ready. On throttle, here we go. Yeah. On those carbon ceramic brake rotors, look at this. Look at this. Yeah. Woo-hoo-hoo. Steering is very direct, very precise. It's like you're a doctor performing brain surgery with a scalpel. That's how precise everything is with this car. All the inputs, and man, the sound, I'm telling you. But like I said, the biggest difference you're gonna notice going from the E-Ray into this car, or even just the regular C8 Stingray, is where the torque hits. It does not hit hard off the line in the lower revs. You gotta get into the higher revs to feel that sensation of being part of a cruise missile, so to speak. But like I said, driving the E-Ray, it feels like your eyes are going to detach from your brain when you go on throttle from a dead stop, because like I said, it hits hard. 0 to 60, 2.5 seconds. But this is no slouch either, so. Inside, with it being a 3LZ, it's got all the nice finishes, the nice touches, dual climate control, the heated and ventilated seats, and with the top up, you still have plenty of headroom in here. And I'm 6 feet tall, and I really think there's still some room for even taller drivers. The Tremec 8-speed does a fantastic job going through the gears. Very quick, very precise. I love the large paddles, which are carbon fiber. And the seats just cradle you so perfectly. Like a mother holding their newborn baby. That's how nice you are in this seat. All right, guys, have the top down. This is what obviously a convertible Corvette is all about. We got that flat plane crankshaft V8 right behind my shoulder here, and we're gonna go on throttle. I'm gonna use the paddles. I like using the paddles to shift. It just allows me to be more engaged in the driving. But if you're ready, I'm ready. Hold that throttle down, release brake, on throttle. Nice. Woo! And really, it does a great job when it comes to the buffeting inside the car. Yes, I have the side windows up. Yes, I have this little glass window up as well, but it really creates a nice environment to where you're not getting a lot of wind buffeting, and you're able to really let your hair blow in the wind, but not be blown away by the wind, if you get what I'm saying. And it allows you to definitely hear that LT6. Unbelievable. Woo! But these seats are fantastic, and this experience is fantastic. On throttle! Woo! Like I said though, I can hold a conversation in here, and it's really not bad. I actually think it's probably one of the better convertibles that I've been in when it comes to sound. And then if you want to put the top back up, you can do it while you're rolling. You just have to slow down, of course. So now we're actually driving here, and I can put the top back up. There it is. The tonneau cover goes down. I get a chime. Windows go up. And now we're back in. But I'm telling you, the way that this car is going to make you feel, there's not many cars like it. There's just not many cars like it. I mean, look at this. It just fires off the shift so quickly, and the engine revs so fast. You need to be locked and loaded if you're going to manually shift with this car, or you will hit redline because of how fast the engine revs. Second gear, on throttle. Woo-hoo-hoo! Look at this. And then the brakes. I mean, not only are they Brembos, they're carbon ceramic. They give a nice, consistent pedal feel. The only thing you want to make sure that you do is you put heat into them. Carbon ceramic brake rotors do not like to be cold. So just something to be aware of, that if you go for that first drive and you're just getting into the good stuff, tap the brakes a little bit, get some heat into them so that when you're ready, they're going to bite nice, because they love heat. Not too much heat, but they definitely need some heat to work properly. But we got to get back to Jaguar Land Rover St. Pete, but I can't just leave you hanging. We got to do one more on throttle. You ready? I'm ready. On throttle, here we go. On the brakes, here we go. Now we're talking, now we're talking. Speak my language. Woo! Just fantastic how this car performs. You see how it says on the back of that Jeep, smile? If you're not smiling in this car, you need to just return it right away, because this car is gonna put a grin the size of Texas on your freaking mug. But like I said, we got to get back to Jaguar Land Rover St. Pete and wrap this one up. So I will see you in a nanosecond. All right, guys. It's been another incredible day in so many ways with this C8 Z06 Corvette. Definitely got to thank Miro and the rest of the team for getting us access to this torch red, smoking hot Z06. Let me know what you think. Are you going with the more exotic experience in a Z06? Or do you want that technological tour de force where you get a pushrod V8 matched with an electric motor to give you all-wheel drive experience? Let me know in the comment section which way you're gonna go. But if you're new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raised Rise family. Of course, we need to give it up. Stephen Flood, Stephen Flood Photography. I'm wearing shorts. He's wearing a coat, a scarf, earmuffs, a hat, and pants with thermals underneath. What can I say? He likes it nice and warm. Thank you, Stephen, for warming everybody's hearts and their eyes with your great videography skills. And just like always, I'll see you on the next ride.